it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you for joining me again today. Apologies if I sound a little croaky. I was at a 2-day exhibition over the weekend and my voice is beginning to go. So, and I'm actually filming this the day that this is going live, so it's all a bit scary. However, welcome to the Stampers Showcase blog hop. I'm doing a video, but if you hop over to my website, which is immediately below, you will be able to hop along with everybody else. And I am absolutely certain they will have done some fantastic projects for you. We are embracing our favourite items from the autumn-winter catalogue. You may know that I have a very tatty printed out version, which I have drawn all over. But I am using today the Holly Jolly Christmas, which is part of the Night Before Christmas suite. I have used the Memories and More cards with you before, but I don't think I've used the stamp set, so I thought I would. I will be using some of the designer series paper as well. It's 6x6, 12 sheets of each of 4 designs, so 48 sheets. Gosh, I really am sounding croaky. 48 sheets. They are gorgeous. Let me grab the papers. This is the one I'm going to be using today, although I'm going to be using more than that. We've got hot chocolate and biscuits with candy canes on the back. We've got Christmas trees. We've got more Christmas trees. I have cut into all of this, as you can see. Reindeer with stripes on the back, lights, envelopes. What is great about this designer series paper is that the backs are pretty much all of them are generic, so you don't have to use them for Christmas. So if you have any left over, why you'd have any left over after Christmas, I don't know, but if you do, then you will have generic, that's I think the only one that isn't, you'll have generic papers to use. So that's the one I need for today. Those are my cut-offs from the sample that I've made. And so let me show you that. This is the card that I'm making. Now, I had to make a decision on this. The paper is actually on a very vanilla base, but I wanted my Father Christmas to be on white. So I've gone with white. I think it works. I've brought in the cherry cobbler and it's meant to be vanilla stripe, but it's actually, I think it's not quite white as opposed to vanilla. So I'm going with it. I'm going to change up the colours a teeny bit, but only a teeny bit. And then I want you to tell me which one you prefer. But let me get started. So, I've shown you the stamp set, haven't I? Let me show it to you properly. We've got stockings, and there is a die that die cuts the 3 stockings. I think it die cuts the 3 stockings. No, it die cuts 1. Let me bring in the dies that I'm not using on today's project. We've got Christmas trees, which there isn't a die for, but it's easy to fussy cut. We've got some sentiments. We've got a parcel. We've got Santa, which obviously we're using today, and has a die cut. We've got a Father Christmas and the reindeer rushing across the sky, and then we've also got 'Tis the Season to Be Jolly, which is what this looks like. I've done this in red glimmer paper, which I can't remember if it's actually current, but anyway, I had some red glimmer paper, so I've used it. So we've got a tag as well, and this die cuts the parcels which are here. So let me get on with the project because you really don't want me rattling on at you. I'm going to cut this first just so that I've got it ready to go. I've got my old trimmer. Tomorrow we get the new one. Well, tomorrow we demonstrators get to order the new one so that we can make sure we've got any wrinkles out of it before you get it. I'm cutting my paper at 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. Don't worry about dimensions because they will be on my website, and I'll also have dimensions suitable for those of you in North America who use letter size rather than international A4. I've got a piece of Whisper White card. I have my Santa mounted up on one of my blocks. This is a large stamp and it's on an E block. So I'm just going to ink that up with Memento because I am using blends. And just stamp him down and lift up. Now you do want to leave your Memento to dry before you use your blends, because although blends are perfect with your although Memento is perfect with your blends, my brain is gone today, too busy a weekend. You do still need to let the ink dry. So I am just going to grab my die cutter, don't need that just yet, and die cut my Father Christmas. So let me bring that in and take off my top plate. So this is my Santa die, and the dies now, I keep meaning to say this but I haven't, you need to line up the edge of the die with the edge of your stamping. It's really, really easy. Just make sure that it's nicely lined up. I'm using the magnetic base plate because this is a large die. It's really easy to use. Some of the smaller dies do end up bouncing around because of the magnets, and that's why I keep some retired washi tape on top, just so that I can make sure that they don't. So that's my die cutting done. Get rid of my die cutter and the plate, and don't need those bits. So pop those over so I can find them later. Now, this is blend heavy. I'm not going to apologise for the fact it is blend heavy. Let me see if I've got the ones that I'm using. Yes, I have got all of the ones that I'm using. So I'm using Light Smoky Slate, both of the soft suedes, both of the crumb cakes, yes, both of the crumb cakes, both of the Poppy Parades, although you can get away with just the dark, light Old Olive, dark black, ivory, and light Night of Navy. So, as I say, a little blend heavy, but the joy with these is once you've got them, you've got them. So, all I'm going to do for him is outline anything that's red, and I'm going for Poppy Parade. You could go Cherry Cobbler, but I think Father Christmas should be a bright red, but Cherry Cobbler would work, and it is in the paper. So you could go Cherry Cobbler. And that's why the matching ribbon is Cherry Cobbler. So I outline first, because I'm only using the dark Poppy Parade for his suit, although I'm using light Poppy Parade as well. I'm only using dark on his suit, so I'm just outlining, filling in, and not needing to bother about shading. So that's kind of what I'm doing with that. The bag will be, I start with light Cherry Cobbler crumb cake, the other double C. So light crumb cake, and just fill the whole bag with light crumb cake as a base. Don't forget the bit that he's holding. And then with the dark crumb cake, just add in any shading you want. So there'll be some shading there, there'll be some shading around here, and at the base of the bag, and underneath that piece there, and possibly there. And then just go back in with your light crumb cake and blend those edges out so that you've got a nice soft edge. And this is the joy of blends, because you get the really nice soft blend. That's why they're called blends. So you want to concentrate on those actual edge lines, just to smooth those out. and then as they dry back they will kind of sink in. His gloves, boot and belt I'm doing with the dark basic black. I know it sounds odd to have a dark and a light, but that's so you can get shading, but I'm not shading his belt and his gloves. So that would be that. The teddy bear I'm doing in soft suede. So I'm doing dark soft suede for most of him. And there. I'm going to leave his nose bit free. And then I'll come in with the light soft suede. I'm not doing this terribly well. Come in with the light soft suede to do his belly, and his nose I'm going to do in ivory, but I'm also going to use the light soft suede on Santa's belt buckle because that's gold, so that is sort of a gold colour. And I'm just kind of layering up and layering up. So I'm going to use the ivory for his face. The ribbons are in red. This candy cane obviously is in red, and then just adding some shading on anything that would be white, just with the light soft suede, smoky slate. So rather than watch me go through that and bore you a lot, because we're at 11 minutes, here's the one I prepared earlier in Blue Peter fashion. I'm going to take my Wink of Stella and anything that is fur rather than beard and eyebrows, but so anything that is fur, I'm adding Wink of Stella, and I'm also going to add it to his belt so that that glistens. So just add it to the fur. I love Wink of Stella. Now if you haven't got Wink of Stella but you've got the shimmer paint, you could use a very dilute shimmer paint instead of the Wink of Stella, but do make sure you use it dilute because otherwise you'll just cover up all your blend. Now the other thing that I'm doing in Wink of Stella is the candy cane, because I can and because it's mint. So that's that. Right, so this is where I'm going to change things up a little bit. Oh, I need to do the stamping on the inside. So I've done on the inside of my card, I've stamped May the Magic of Christmas Reach You this year. I've done this one in Poppy Parade. Because I'm going to change things up a little, I'm going to do the stamping inside on this one in Cherry Cobbler. So we'll just ink that up and stamp. And yes, I know I'm stamping at an angle, but it's sort of straight. So that's that. Let's pop that over for cleaning. That's all I need my Cherry Cobbler ink pad for. So that's ready to go on the inside. Designer Series paper. I personally would prefer to use, if I can find it, it was on my desk just now, Snail. There it is, it's right in front of me. To attach Designer Series paper, you can use a very, very fine line of the liquid adhesive, but don't go heavy-handed because it may just crinkle the paper a wee bit. Then pop that onto a Cherry Cobbler mat, whereas the previous one was Poppy Parade. And I'm going to bring in my Cherry Cobbler and, now what do they call it? Cherry Cobbler diagonal stripe ribbon, a couple of tiny pieces of tear and tape to attach it to the back. And what I'm going to do is, actually no, I'm not going to do that. Life sometimes, I don't know, my brain. I'm just going to cut a strip of ribbon and then, holding it sort of in place at one end, I'm going to add my tear and tape. Come on, please be nice. Okay, don't be. Let's try something with a point. So add one end and then line up your mat on your grid paper so that it lines up on the grid paper and so that the ribbon lines up on a stripe. Pop your other piece of tear and tape down, and then you can line your ribbon up from the back so that when you turn it over, it is straight, she says, ish. Straight. Then, what do I want to do? I want to stick my centre on. That's what I want to do. Sorry, my brain really isn't working today. So, some dimensionals to pop on the back. The moral of the story is don't wait until the morning that you're going live on a blog hop to do your project, because it's not a good idea. It's a bad idea, so I do apologise. Okay, so dimensionals on your centre. Take your backings off. Now my fingers aren't going to work either. Why should my fingers work when my brain isn't working? So peel those off. Come along. Thank you. Peel those off. Pop my centre on my card front and then other way up. Just, whoops, tie a little bow, well, a half knot actually. Twist the ribbon as you tie it so that you've got the same edge on both pieces. Otherwise you can end up with the back showing. And then just trim on the diagonal. Trim on the diagonal. Grab a piece of nice of navy. This is half a sheet of cardstock scored down the middle to make my card base. Some liquid adhesive, and then we are done. So as I say, do remember to go and look at my website and then follow the blog hop along. I will list both below and on my website everything that I have used. Dimensions are on my website, which is linked below. It's a funny sort of kind of slightly gibberish link, but otherwise it's acres long. So just click that link and you'll get over to my website. If you would like to order anything, I would be thrilled if you're in the UK if you would do that. Do use the host code, because then you get to share in the host rewards. If you've enjoyed the video, thumbs up. If you don't already subscribe, if you hit the subscribe button, which is in the bottom right hand corner about there, then that would be great. And if you click the bell as well, then you will get an alert whenever I post a new video. So there you are, my cherry cobbler version, my poppy parade version. So let me know which you prefer. And I hope you've enjoyed that. As I say, if you did, please give it a thumbs up. If questions, comments, leave those below. I always reply eventually. I take I sort of do them in a batch, so it may be a week before I get back to you, but I will always reply. If you've got a question, I quite often go back sooner. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. Go and enjoy the rest of the blog hop, and I hope you have a great day.